Hey guys, so this is the tutorial on the card flip that I did in my Cosmos book. Now I'm going to show you the standard triple flip card, and I'm just using some leftover Stamperia paper that I had here, and I will cut this out. I'm going to give you the sizes in centimeter because it's easier, trust me, that way. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut a 20 by 15 centimeter card. So let's cut this down. By 15. There we have it. You can also do this in any size that you want, and I will show you where it actually matters the most to have the most accurate measurements. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have to score some lines. We're going to make like a little box. You have to, it can't be flat, and it can't be just a little up like this, or it won't move. You have to actually make a little bit of a box. So what we're going to do first is we are going to use a ruler, and we're going to mark where we're going to score these lines to make the box. The box is going to be kind of in a collapsible zigzag shape, so that way if it's in between cards, books, journals, anything like that, it can collapse down and it won't damage the flip at all. So what we're going to do, again, this is going to be in centimeters, and we're going to take our ruler and we are going to mark 5 centimeters. Then we have 5.25 centimeters. That's going to be, right around here, right in the middle. Then we're going to have 5.5 centimeters right here. So you should have 3 lined really close together here. Let's lower this down. Just like that. Then from this 5.5 centimeters, we're going to go to 9 centimeters. So we're going to go from the 5.5, we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that it's going to be marked at 14.5 centimeters. Then it's going to be marked at 14 3/4, right about there. And then it's going to be marked at 15. So when you measure it here on the other side, it should actually measure 5 centimeters, just like it does. And then you get the 5.25 and then 5.5. So you can mark it that way, or you can just go from here and do 14 and so on. But we're going to do this on both sides. So again, you're going to mark it 5 centimeters, then 5.25, 5.5, then you got your 5 centimeters and 5.25, and then 5.5. Now we're going to connect these lines to each other. I'm using a pen on this so that way you can see it, because this paper is a little bit dark. So there's our 3 lines. Now you can take a ruler take a scoring pen, whatever you have handy, scoring board, whatever, like this, all the way down. That's what the other side of this is for, so you don't have to use the scoring board. Does the same thing. It leaves a little bit of a score edge right here. Okay? Or if you have a scoring board, you can also use metal rulers. Let's raise this back up. So we're just going to take our scorer and score all of these lines that we have just made. And those of you that have followed me for a while, if you look at my Alice in Wonderland heart-shaped book, I did this similar card flip, except on a smaller scale for that book because it was smaller in there with the Queen of Hearts, and when it was playing cards, and when it flipped over, it said off with her head. So you can use this for tons of different things. You can also use it for birthday cards or greeting cards, whatever kind of card. Alright. So you have your lines here scored. Now all you're going to do is you're going to fold the first one on the outside, just like that. The middle one is going to go this way. You have to manipulate it just a little bit. Kind of want to bend it like that. The outside one will also bend towards the middle. Sometimes it's easier to bend it like that first, then manipulate the inside to kind of do this little zigzag. Once you get it started, it's pretty easy. See, you just fold it like that. It'll eventually work its way in there. You can also score that one the opposite way, since it is going the opposite way. I just score them all the same way. So it will look like this little zigzag shape, like this. This collapses the card down. This is kind of like the housing of the card flip for this, just like that. Now, next thing we're going to want to do, if you don't have a circle punch, then you don't have to do this. You could try to just cut it out. But right about here in the middle, we're just going to do this. And punch it. This is so we can grab the card. Then, from here, we are going to mark. We're going to use this part right here, the center part. And we're just going to line it up on the edge here, like that. And we are going to mark from the end here 1.5 centimeters. Then we're going to mark 5 centimeters, 5.5. Then we're going to mark 9 centimeters. 9.5, and then 13 centimeters, just like that. Okay? And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we're just going to line up our ruler to the edge of where the circle was punched, half circle. And we're going to do 1.5, and we're going to do 5. Then we got 5.5, and 9, 9.5, and 13. And let's connect them. And now you have these lovely lines here. So now what we're going to do is we are going to center this up. So in between these two lines here, we want to take 2.2 centimeters. So this is like 2.5 centimeters. So we're going to take 2.2, probably right about there. And I'm going to mark it up here. Let me draw this line right here a little straighter. I went from end to end. There we go. And then up here, I'm going to do 2.2, which is right about there. .2 and center it. Let's see. Okay, so we have 1, and we have 2. Yep. Okay, so we are good. Always want to double check your measurements. Right here, we're going to just draw a line to that one. And then since we use the end here, this is the end, I'm just going to do that. So, there we go. Now, we're going to cut the slits out at 4 centimeters. So here's our 4 centimeter right here. So we have, here's 1, 2, and 3. When we measure it from here, it's going to be right about here. This is just to make sure it's even. And right about there. So we're going to put the first one right here. So the slit to it is going to be probably about that big. And then here would be the next one right here. These are just to center it and get them as even as possible. So all these other lines, I'm only doing it in pen so you guys can see it since the paper is dark. So this right here is going to get cut out. This is going to get cut out here. And then this is going to get cut out here. The rest of these lines, if you're using a pencil, you can erase them now. Except for this, this, and this. Those are the only 3 that matter. All this other stuff is just done to center it and make sure it's correct. Because if it is off a little bit, it won't work. And once you get the hang of it, then you can improvise and make different sizes. But this is the most common size because I think it's very universal and it fits in everything. So I would stick with this one until you've mastered it. So we're just going to cut these out. Just like that. So there's our slit right there. We're going to set this to the side. Now it's time to do the pole bar. This is actually pretty easy. You can actually use leftover paper we have here for this. So the pole bar is going to be 15 by 4 centimeters. And then by 15. Now for this, the only thing we're going to do to this is we are going to mark these lines so that way when we go to glue the pieces that the mechanism that makes it flip, we'll know exactly where to glue it. And we're going to do it at 0.7 centimeters. 5, 6, 7, right there. And then we have 4.7 centimeters. 4.7, and then 8.7 centimeters. Right about there. Let's mark it at the bottom now. And then we're going to draw lines across to make sure they're nice and even. These will line up with the slits we just made on the housing. So 0.7, then we have 4.7, and then we have 8.7 centimeters. So there we go. Now I can set that to the side. So the next pieces that we're going to do here are going to be our mechanism that is used to actually flip the card. And they are 4 centimeters by 3.5 centimeters. So let's cut this piece of paper. And we need 3 of these. So here's 3.5. If I'm out of cameras, I apologize. Get you in a second. This isn't the thrilling part. It's kind of the boring part, is cutting stuff. And you can actually make this all out of one sheet of stamped area paper. We're going to do 1 centimeter, 1 here, 1 here, that's not 1 centimeter, it is, I guess, like right there. this way. I'm going to mark 2 centimeters and 2.7, right about there. Same as up here, 2 centimeters, 2.7. So we have that shape. Then we're going to make sure that you score this whole line right here. And turn it around. And score just right here to here. And take those scissors right here, cut out this little bitty slit. Just like that. Fold it in, fold it in. Okay, I'm going to do the last one, and we'll be right back. Okay, so now we got our 3 pieces here. We have our housing unit, and then we have our pole back here. So we're going to put glue on this side right here. And as you can see, our lines are about the same spacing there, so that's good. So you're going to just glue it on this side of the line. Here's the line right here, so you're just going to glue it like that with this folded part, just like that. Sure they are kind of centered also. These. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to fold these up just like this. This is why these fold up, so you can get them in there and so they do not come back out. Fold them up in there like that. Then spread them out. Now here's where you can test it. See to see how well your flip is. You may have to mess with it just a little bit to get it to work because it's still kind of stiff. So it will lay flat like this. Just like that. Because these little things like to get caught when you're trying to fold them, so you might want to fold them back out like this. Okay, there we go. Also, when you turn it over, you see how this is up right here. You want to turn it over like I just did and make sure you can flatten it, because if you don't flatten it, it will only go like right to there. So you'll have a good flip. That's what we're looking for right there. Okay, so now what you can do is you can put the same size cards on there, or you could put, you can actually do stuff like this on there. I'm going to cut out some little squares out of my scrap sheets here. Just real quick so I can show you how it works. And I'm just going to make the squares probably like about 5 by 3. We want to make it the same width, 3.5. So we'll do 5 by like 3.5 centimeters. Let me use this other side where it doesn't have glue on it on the page. 5 and 3.5. And you want to cut out 6 of these because you want to have one for front and back, front and back, front and back, front and back. That way you don't see the little lever there that's moving it. Here we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's 6. So we'll go ahead and we'll make it this dark side like this. And we're going to flip it over this way. You're just going to put glue on this side. Make sure you make all your little cards even too. It would look bad if they were uneven. It wouldn't make a very nice blow. Like that. Okay, and then we're just gonna flip them on over here like this. Straighten this one up if you need to. And then you can do this and you can glue the whole side together. So when you see this in my Cosmos video, yes, I skipped a lot of these steps, so I wanted to do a separate video just to give you the proper way to do it with measurements and all that good stuff. So let's test it out. Okay, here, let me flatten these back down again, like that. We're gonna make sure these stay nice and flat. And see, that's how the card flip works. And I've done it a few different ways, but to me this one is the best one and it works the best. So now that it works, we're going to take our little housing thing here. We're just going to put some glue right there to close it. And then you can attach it to a journal, card, whatever you want to do with it. So there you have it. And that is how you do the triple flip. If you wanted to add another card to it, you could. I would recommend making this longer, following the same step, and making it that way. You can also make these cards bigger. You can make them pretty much as big as you want. If it was this big, it will still work the same way. It will be a little bit more heavy, but it will work. Usually what I do is if the card is bigger, I will only glue it on one side, like this. So when you look at my Cosmos card, I have tags that I use. So when it flips over this way, the little lever thing here is showing, but I have stuff over that. So that way I'm not gluing a whole another card here, making it heavier, and then the card flip is not as neat. But that's how you do the card flip. Thanks guys for watching this tutorial. Like, follow, and subscribe, and I will try to update more tutorials as often as I can.